Hey everyone, Dr. Kennard here with Dr. Tom, Dr. Foolery, Dr. Whatever, whatever, however you want to call him. It's Dr. Tom Foolery. This is the after party, after show. I'm running till 10:15 today because I got to do some work with my fingers on the typing for the words. So yeah, how are you doing, Dr. Tom?
Busy, busy, busy.
Busy, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, so am I. Kind of sucks, but what are you going to do, right? And that's what the kids call adulting. That's what they call it. That's what the kids call it. It's a
You just have to keep on keeping on.
white, bright, like a bird that flew, tangled up in blue. I know that song. Wow. I had a girlfriend, and she was really into Dylan at the time. And she had this whole room, her dorm room, decorated and thematically of in that song, Tangled Up in Blue. Right? Yeah. So how about that? Another strange relationship story from Andy. So hey, in case you're watching on Facebook, if you want to come in on the chat, or come in on the panel, there is a link which is in the description. Because I do stream this to Facebook sometimes, oftentimes, usually, sometimes. So yeah, if you want to come in, if we know you, if you're part of the community, feel free. Yeah. So, what have I been up to? That's a very good question. I'm glad that you asked me, Dr. Tom Fillery. Not a whole lot besides working. Memeing, been making memes, causing trouble.
Yeah, you're good
You
at
know,
that, aren't you?
I try my best. That's what I do. I try my best. Brainbug, what's Brainbug doing here? He must not have to work today. What's up, Brainbug? My favorite type of bug, the brain bug. Right? You can actually catch an after party. That's good. Are you home from work today? So I found that statistic both disturbing and hopeful. Is that the about the Trump areas people not doing as well as the Biden spots. You listening as you clean. Very good, Rage. Glad to hear that.
Multitasking.
Multitasking. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's good. That's good. What's up? Good to see D Parks here. Brainbook is working, but on a project, so I get to listen. Excellent.
Mm.
Excellent. And you're trying to sort it out. I don't know what it is. Having a tech issue. That's what you are. You're having a tech issue, Telvin. I have many issues, deeply psychological. But, tech is not one of those issues this morning, at least.
Yeah, I keep my text simple. I just click the button and have my headset on.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. How's your the YouTube? You were talking about or getting a YouTube channel going, Dr. Tom.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing a test stream on Twitch today.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
exciting.
so see how that works. I'll probably try doing some Minecraft uh, creative mode building of redstone machinery.
A redstone machinery. So
Yep.
I'm gonna say stupid words right now, and you can tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. The redstone machinery, it's machinery made out of redstones.
Machinery that uses redstone to generate the complex behavior because redstone is roughly analogous to like electrical connections within Minecraft.
I love it that you use words that you think I understand, and you are either overestimating. I think you're
Yep.
overestimating what I know.
Which words don't you understand?
Trickle, trickle technology. What is it? What was the term you used? It was trickle something.
I don't recall using that word in my description. You must
Okay,
have
so
misheard me.
the redstone technology, it seems to be it powers something.
Yeah. It's roughly analogous to electrical
Oh, okay.
connections.
Okay, sure. Well, that makes sense. I can understand that. So what time are you going to be twittering at?
Uh, Probably this afternoon sometime,
Yeah, I'll
depending
be
on
working.
exactly. Yeah,
Well, of course, I'll be able to watch it afterwards if I so desire, correct?
presumably.
Because it'll
Probably
be.
rather boring. It's mostly me testing stuff out. So
Mm, mm, mm. Toby Timbleman's trying to come in, but his device, he's still fighting the tech issues down there. Redstone is like circuits. That's what I was getting in my meat brain bud
mhm.
about Redstone is it seems circuity.
It's not a true analogy since you just get get power from nowhere effectively with redstone, and then it just disappears at the. So it's not a true circuit. So it's
Does the energy come from the ether?
sort of it just gets generated by certain things and then gets eaten up by other things. While a circuit requires you connecting it within a loop.
Right, right. I understand. I understand. What's up, Kendra? See, now I just learned something about Redstone technology right here that may or may probably not come in handy at all. But that's a lot of my information that I know, stuff that isn't really too useful in the real world.
Yeah. It's a very niche piece of information.
Right, right. Um, Speaking about useless information, the podcast that one of the podcasts I listen to, Revolutions podcast, they're doing, they're like, I don't know, maybe 50 episodes in on the Russian Revolution, and now they're finally doing the October, right, the October Revolution right now, and about the complete chaos that was going on during the Bolshevik takeover, the communist basically takeover of the democratic government in 1917. So yeah, yeah, definitely good times, crazy stories, a mishmash of how everything happened.
Mm,
But so I listened to that yesterday. That was quite enjoyable.
yeah. My favorite trivia about the Red October is that it took place in November.
Now, is that because of the calendar
Yep.
discrepancies? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. They were still working off the Julian calendar in Russia at the time, and it wasn't until after the October Revolution that they switched over to the Gregorian calendar.
right, right.
So they had been off by a week or a couple of weeks or whatever it was by then there.
Right, right, right. And so basically, up until 1917, 1918, the Russians were working on a calendar that basically made them like what was it? A couple of days, 7 days, 5 days behind.
It was like a week or more by that point.
Right, right. And yes, this is actually. Oh, hey, John Hudson's here. Then what's up, John Hudson? You look like you're geared up and ready to go.
Hey,
Yeah,
John.
getting had its dogs escaping, so we got to go out and do some welding on the gate.
Hmm.
Well, you got to have a closed gate to keep those dogs and
Meat
stuff, right?
meatheads.
Meatheads.
Meat.
What kind of dogs do you have, man?
I've got a bulldog. I've got a Dalmatian. I've got a Labrador Chesapeake mix, Boston Terrier, and a pit bull.
Wow. So you have some pretty lethargic dogs there that definitely don't run around like madmen, mad creatures.
Uh, it keeps everybody away.
Oh, I'm sure it does, dude. I'm sure it does.
And they've got about 5 acres that it's fenced in that they can run.
Oh, that's good.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It keeps them occupied. I'm sure.
yeah, uh, they're rescue dogs.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah. So the one's deaf, and just they're all kind of slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they've got a lot of love. So
Oh, that's good.
Mm.
Yeah. You got them from a local shelter?
uh, two of them, I picked up one in El Paso.
Hmm.
One came out of Utah with me.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. How's
and
the
then the one, the bulldog, uh, the neighbor couldn't handle her, so I'm like, I'll take her, and they're sweet.
yeah. Was it just too much dog for the person or
No, they had a new baby,
uh,
uh, and yeah, they thought it would be fun to have dogs, and found out that it's actually a commitment and it takes time.
dogs are not cats?
Dogs are not cats.
Dog- yeah, you actually have to pay attention to dogs.
Yeah, but they'll
Yeah.
pay attention to you.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Yeah.
But I've noticed anytime that I'm down, they can sense it, and that's when they really want to show their love towards me. Where a cat would be like, "Fuck you, I don't care that you're feeling down."
My cat's way of showing affection is, of course, being close by.
Yeah,
Maybe crawling up on me at 2 o'clock in the morning, perching on me.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say they show their affection at about 2 o'clock in the morning.
that's exactly it. I'll wake up and then I look at my girlfriend and there's a cat perched right on her. Um, yeah, and, that's the way how Biscuit shows affection.
Yeah. Yeah,
How's the new grandchild?
Oh my God, she's adorable.
Oh, good.
Just a good kid too. I mean, she gets up about every 3 4 hours to for feeding, and but other than that, she doesn't whine much at all. Just
Yeah.
lets you know if she's poopy, pissy, or needs to be fed. Other than
Okay.
that, it's just coo coo coo.
Excellent. No, Andy, that is Biscuit trying to steal my soul in the middle of a wow. I'll tell the gentleman from the bunker. Oh, I don't know if we. Hey,
Oh man,
Is it gonna work? I don't know.
dude, you look like you're in some kind of post-apocalypse bunker right now.
yeah, he's in Texas.
Yeah, right.
There are some things that are working differently this morning, and I'm not sure what I didn't do anything to my computer about this stuff. This is weird. I like how it's like zoomed into my face. It's kind of boxed me in a little bit closer.
Yeah,
Kind of dark looking.
It is.
It, but I like it.
yeah. You got.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
roll with it.
yeah. You should just go with it, man. It's a good vibe, right? That
Yeah.
dark Lord of the Sith kind of vibe going on there.
Yeah, very high contrast from John's with his
Oh, very.
bright windows in the back.
I am the light.
Yeah, that's right. John Hudson is the light.
And I am the darkness.
The two sides of Texas.
But yes,
The yin and the yang.
I'm a yin yang. What? Yeah, it sounds like the kids out there running the generator. Let me turn off, close some windows here.
running the generator, huh?
Yeah, just he's doing some welding on the gate.
Oh yeah.
I ran the generator down to him, and I told him, "Let me go do my show, and I'll be back with you." He's
Cool.
kind of rambunctious though, so I'll just let him handle it.
Right. Yeah. Right. So you guys are completely off the grid, John?
What's that?
Are you guys completely
Well,
off?
no, we've got power here if we want it.
Yeah.
We just don't use it.
Nice.
In fact, we have two poles in our yard that come directly into our yard.
Hmm.
So it has to travel a little bit
Right.
to be here, but we just pretty much don't use it.
Sure. That's cool.
If you generate too much power, do you sell it back to the grid?
What's that? I don't know. I've never asked the kids on that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it should be able to do that. You can sell back some of the power that you're over.
Well,
Yeah.
they're so damn sharp that if a buck can be made, the kids are doing it.
That's good.
They really are.
Right, Cryptomaria?
Right, you got the film noir thing going on there. Tobin, girlfriend and I were watching John Oliver's show last night, and he talked all about his main story was about the shitty American electrical grid and the real issue with renewable energy, or one of the big actually creating transmission lines to get the electricity, the energy from the sources of the renewables to actual homes. It's worth your time if you have an extra half hour or so. Check it out.
See, I think the technology is there enough for each individual home to be its own power station.
Yeah.
Like, and I get the concept of interconnecting us all. So, therefore, if somebody, you know, uh, you can get it to places that may need it, but
Yeah.
the technology is there to where you can make your, whatever business, your place
Yeah.
run from different, I mean, yeah. What do y'all think about that?
Were you gonna say something, Dr. Tom?
It, there is a certain amount of that, but especially in the more densely populated areas, that's less feasible. Where, sure, if you have like your own single family home with a lot of your own dedicated roof, you probably could be reasonable about that. But if you are in a densely populated area where you're in an apartment building,
Yeah.
servicing every person in that dense area with just the solar of that area isn't exactly feasible.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's certain things like that, which is one of the big issues of getting power to them from the more spread out areas.
Yeah.
But at that point, couldn't the apartment complex itself, uh, have it, and not just solar? Like, whenever I'm saying our own little power stations,
Mm-hmm.
not just relying on solar. There's so many other little technologies that if
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. We were talking about, actually, the girlfriend and I were talking about it, or she was talking about it, about maybe putting some solar panels on the house, and you know, and the condo that we live in is basically kind of like its own house to itself. So we have a fair amount of room on the roof to do that. But my old place in Brockton, it was a renovated factory. It was built in the 1920s, and there might have been 80 units or so in it. So definitely in a tight area where there is just room for parking, um, and limited space on the roof. Yeah, I don't think it's a scalability issue. And then you think about hospitals
Mm-hmm.
and other businesses, and I'm not saying that it's impossible to do, or that the problem can't be managed with having. I believe Germany had a big push for residential solar panels on homes, and which was really successful. But yeah, in terms of the insane amount of energy people use,
Mm-hmm.
an issue is a big hurdle is the transmission lines.
Well, I know Nick, when he done the solar panels here, he figured out the overall life of the units and such, and he's like, it's not free compared to what the power would be, but it is half the cost over the entire life of the panel and such. So it would be half the cost of what the power would be.
Right. So there are the initial costs of doing the solar panels, and if you're living in your house for a certain period of time, it'll pay itself
Mm-hmm.
off. It'll pay itself off. But if you're
Yes, but if what way he figured it out was if he was just to pay the power bill that was here prior, and broke down the cost over the life of the panel. What it did is cut the power cost in half. So
Okay.
over time, the panel pays for itself,
Yeah.
but over the life of what it is, it's half the money.
Right. Right.
But
Interesting.
50 cents on the dollars, that they add up.
Well, especially if you're in Texas, where the electrical systems may not be on point all the time.
Did it once.
Yeah, no, there is power failures. It'll I mean, we're a city that is susceptible to that kind of stuff.
Big Zebra. I don't think that works like that. If you use your panels to power a lamp that shines on the panel, you get perpetual motion machine. I think there's some
it does kind of work like that. Like it doesn't even take you can use a flashlight to power a panel.
Right.
You can use a fire that's outside. It can capture that light. It's not good for it. I don't suggest it. But yeah, it's not enough. It's almost like
I remember the the old solar panels back in the day. I think they only used they were very inefficient in gathering. The photovoltaic were fairly inefficient in harnessing electricity from the sun. I know that the new ones are far better, but we shouldn't fool ourselves with saying that that is a perpetual motion machine. Yeah, otherwise everyone would be doing it, right?
Yeah, right.
Well,
I do think about that concept though.
Sure.
Like I have an idea using solar panels and using tanks of water and being able to like use bell siphons and another one that's called a pulsar pump, and making it to where you can make water do a cycle. Like I don't know. I haven't gotten to put it into play yet, so I don't know if it'll work. But I'm trying. I want to figure this out. Perpetual motion. It's on the list to do.
Okay.
Well, back in Utah, my swimming pool, I had it heated. I had 4-inch ABS pipe with black pipe that I'd mounted onto this brick wall out in the back of the house, and the sun was on it all the time. And I was swimming into November in Utah.
Nice, dude.
It heated the water that well. And here in Texas, I could turn it into a goddamn hot tub year round. Yeah, no. Just got to put a pool in now.
Right.
There's a module that is it's a little flat square, and this module, if it heats up, it can produce electricity, and they're better than solar panels. Like you could take this little disc, and if you have like a stove, you could put it on the stove and it'll absorb the heat and be able to make it can be transferred into electricity. They're somewhat kind of new, and there's another one too that makes hot and cold. On one side of the disc it makes really hot, and then on the other side it makes really cold.
That's a Peltier effect. It's been around
Peltier, yes.
Peltier effect has been around for a while.
Interesting. I was just reading once again about stuff that doesn't mean any, information that doesn't really mean have any real use to it whatsoever. Is about the different calendar dates from the Russians were using versus the rest of the world, and I'm not even going to get into it. But let me tell you, I've just been researching the Battle of Austerlitz and the maneuver at Ulm, and about the calendar issue. So I'm going to have to rearrange my thinking about that, which is completely tangential, and I'm sorry for that.
Rearranging their calendar dates, huh?
Yeah, because we were talking that the Russians were using what was it, the Julian
Yeah.
calendar,
Mm.
uh, as against to our calendar, which is what, the Gregorian calendar?
The Gregorian.
Yeah, and so that created like so their Russian Revolution that occurred in October for their calendar was actually for us in November.
Mm-hmm.
So we're a month
But now they've
behind
changed.
them.
So now that but since the revolution, they've changed to the Gregorian calendar. So we're all on the same calendar.
Yeah, it was just like a week or two difference. So the October Revolution happening at the end of October, and the Julian calendar was the beginning of November, in the Gregorian calendar. So
Right.
from the outside of Russia perspective, the October Revolution happened in November.
Sounds like you're talking about Schrodinger's revolution, Dr. Tom Foolery. That's what it sounds like. I don't know. Big Zebra
Right
says,
on.
I love the Futurama episode where a human newscaster says, I hope these windmills generate a nice breeze for everyone. And then other news alien screams, well, windmills do not work that way. They do not work that way, no.
Yeah.
They don't cause cancer.
That's where I was going with that. I figured, just shut the fuck up, John.
They don't cause cancer.
Yeah. But having a good diversified electrical system where solar, wind, hydroelectric, tidal, all sorts of different stuff put together.
And just having a proper build too,
Mm-hmm.
right there is you can cut your costs down to damn near nothing if a house is built properly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And you can tell the dramatic difference between a house that actually has insulation versus
Oh yeah.
a house
Yeah,
without
this
insulation.
place here, we have 4 furnaces, 4 central airs, and well, the garage is even air conditioned and heated, so 5. And yeah, the geodesic design too. It's the way it circulates heat. There's like no cold spots in the house. It just the way it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
the way the heat's distributed and the cool too.
Heck yeah.
The windmill powered nightclub. Whoop, a lot of whoops there. Simply secular day.
I'll go.
Now I know what a water screw looks like, an Archimedes water screw. I've never seen a Archimedes windmill screw, nor did I know that they actually existed. And for those of you who don't know what a water screw is, it's basically a way for that ancient peoples, and it's still being used, to being able to take water from a lower elevation to a higher elevation. Do I have that right, Tom Fuller?
Right.
Right? You can just like basically, it's like a screw, and you say to
The
yourself,
Archimedes screw.
If you're trying to get water from a higher elevation to a lower elevation, you don't need the screw. It's only when you try to do it the other way around that you need the screw.
Thank you. From the lower to the higher. So from the river to someplace else. Otherwise, gravity will do that job. Thank you for the correction. Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, I'm ending the show today a little bit early because I woke up at 3. I didn't get back to sleep until, I don't know, maybe 5. And then, yeah, so I got to do some work before going.
That's yesterday. A friend of mine's like on that infrastructure bill. She's like, only 7% of that's going to infrastructure. And I'm like, she's like, I did my research. And I'm like, you read that fucking omnibus of a bill? You know? No, you did not. And then she starts quoting, it was Epoch Times.
Yeah, that's That's not a real news story.
Yeah,
That's
fuck
not
you.
real. That's not real. That's not a real news source.
No, that's not real news.
No, that's
It's
not real.
fair and balanced.
It's that goes in with the Newsmax, the OAN, the Fox News. That's not real. Yeah, I know that. I was listening on Real News Source yesterday. I was listening to NPR here in Boston, and they were talking about what they were going to do with the infrastructure money, and whether or not I mean, there's certainly you have to spend the money on certain things, but there is some wiggle room. And they were talking about making bus service completely free here in
That's
Boston.
different.
And it's not that expensive to do either. From what they already have one bus system. They have one bus line completely free here in Boston, and then there are other cities within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that are playing around with free buses.
You think it would pay for itself having free bus for one reason? I mean, you got less people on the road,
Yeah.
so you're having less accidents. You're having less, so you're not draining that by having, ambulance or whatever, that type thing. I can see all kinds of reasons that would be a cost-effective measure for any big city to do.
See, John, just by saying that, you are now smarter than the smartest Republican.
That ain't saying much.
And I'll say this, because we have a Republican governor here in Massachusetts, and his argument against free buses went along the line of, if I live in a small town, why do I care about free buses in metropolitan areas? It's like, and John Hudson just did the perfect rejoinder to that, because we live
It would be nice though if they would if you could jump on a bus and from a small town and go into town. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and there is something called the commuter rail too. I mean, let's face it, it should all be free.
Salt Lake had an awesome commuter rail, ran from all the way down the Wasatch Front. And, there was a big stink when they wanted to do it. Everybody's like, oh, nobody's going to ride it and shit. And, I mean, it took off huge to where they actually put a fast train in that
cool.
took you, ran like about 100 miles from Ogden down to Provo.
So and it's clear from real life studies, right, that I see your comment there, Dave, the commuter pulse, that if you make, and this is going to sound so fucking stupid, if you make public transportation free, more people will use public transportation. Oh, yeah. More people using public transportation means there's more economic activity going on and less cars on the road. It seems like a no-brainer. It seems like a no-brainer that it would be a net profit over time.
Right.
So Dave is saying we should just put commuters into catapults.
Commuter pulp.
And just
kind of like Angry Bird travel.
Yeah, this is goddamn commies. That's what it is. Right. That's what it is.
If everyone's using public transportation, though, then there would be less demand for gasoline to power all the individual cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people have been, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to gas prices.
Yeah.
They are going up.
I haven't noticed such a dramatic change here, but I'm watching on the news and they're showing California's prices bumping up to $6,
Yeah.
And we're still under $3 a gallon here.
Oh, really, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, being near the refineries, it does knock down the price. I have, though, like once in my 20s, it was like $6 a gallon.
That was under Bush's administration, right around 2007.
Yeah.
A lot of bad things happened around 2007.
Yeah, well, the fucking bubble burst, didn't it?
Yeah.
And Obama came in and had to eat that shit sandwich that we had going on. I lost over $500,000 at that time.
Dude, people lost their homes. people lost a lot of money during the crash. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I was setting myself up for a Ferrari retirement.
A Ferrari retirement.
Yeah, it didn't happen. I do have a sports car. It's a
Um,
Saturn Sky.
I,
But
I, I might be looking forward to a somewhere that I can live comfortably, somewhere in Central America. Retirement, maybe. That's the level. Rage says it's over $3 a gallon here. Harder and harder to argue that presidents don't influence this market. When we're shutting down pipelines, we have to shut down pipelines to save the planet. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Rage. Green energy to replace what we do. That's what. Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, there was a glut of oil. If we all remember, before COVID, there was a glut of oil, and then I guess people stopped driving during the pandemic, during the shutdown. So the glut was used up over time because there wasn't as much production. And now that everything kind of like is jammed, now that everything's up, the economy's back. If you look at the unemployment numbers, they're doing very well here in the States, despite what the oligarchs are saying.
well, I've noticed the kids like to get out often, and after being locked down, I understand it. I'm still not there. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't like going out as much.
Well, we've been prudent about when we go out. Um, I like to avoid. You may not know this about me, but I like to avoid people under normal circumstances. So if I do go out, it'll be like at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'll go out and hang out with some friends, like I did last Sunday, for example. Went out, hung out with them from like 2:30 to 4, where there isn't a lot of people around, and then I avoid the crowds and hopefully the COVID too.
Well, speaking of going out, I guess when I go out, it'll be the same way I came in, kicking, screaming, punching, covered in someone else's blood.
Nice, sir. Nice job. So the gas, so the gas is at 4.45. Is that the average? Because I know here in Massachusetts it's like 3 something. The last time I saw.
That's probably the British Columbia gas price for him.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, as we all know, people here in the States don't really pay the real cost of gas, unlike other countries that have fees and carbon taxes. The infrastructure bill, as flawed as it is, well, yeah, you're right, Rage. The infrastructure bill is flawed, but it'll address some of the green energy issues. Yeah, yeah.
Well, when they ever had just a clean bill? It's always bundled together with so much fucking crap.
Yeah.
That's one thing I don't like. I wish they would have a bill for a specific item. Fuck, that's it. You want something else?
Yeah.
Put packaging it.
It's an interesting question about whether or not clean bills are the way to go, or the way to convince your other legislators to vote for your shit is to bribe them.
Exactly. Fuck, that couldn't have been put any clearer than that right there.
Yeah, the bipartisan bill is full of pork. Yeah, the larger progressive bill is much better. Sure, I can see that.
Yeah. I have no idea what the gas price is here, and I don't buy gas.
Oh, you and your elitist bicycle set. Yeah.
They're having an electric bike convention here down in Austin, and I think kids bought tickets for it. It's next week, I think it is, and we're gonna go check it out.
It's a bicycle convention,
It's all electric scooters, bikes, electric, and it's supposed to be the biggest convention in the world on this. So it'll be pretty interesting to go down there and see the technologies that they have available.
Nice.
That's cool.
And if they have something that'll do 50, 60 miles an hour, maybe I'll buy something.
Man, I get, you know,
Yeah, there are electric motorcycles that can do that.
Oh yeah.
yeah, they can do that now, but you know, I question going that fast on a bike. Like, I
Well,
don't know.
Yeah,
it'd be a motorcycle,
Wrecking
not
is
it would be a motorcycle. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, from what I understand about about an electric car and how they accelerate really fast.
Oh yeah, the electric motor is complete torque. It's like fucking.
Mhm.
Right, right.
There's no hesitation with it.
right.
So I wonder with motorcycles that are purely electric that they have to kind of play around with the acceleration because you don't want to go from zero to going really super fast, because I think there's some kind of inertia problem with you being on the bike when the bike just suddenly jets off, like some kind of wily coyote shit going on there.
It's like driving a Tesla. If you ever get the opportunity to drive one, do it. They're fun. It's fucking crazy the power that they have.
Yeah.
It's like 0 to fucking 60 in a heartbeat. It's
Yeah.
fun.
I bet that would be pretty exhilarating.
They're
I'm
amazing.
chopping up.
You are chopping up a little bit. Such as the dark side of the force. I guess that's what happens. I will say that my de-carring has been going well. I haven't had to use my car for quite a while. I can walk down to my favorite places in terms of hanging out with my friends, and I just walk to work. So far so good.
Where was you at the other day that you was 3 drinks in that they kicked you out?
Oh, where was I, dude? So I was hanging out with a girlfriend, right? We were three drinks in, and we were inside. And I think the place was dark. Oh, dude, this is what pisses me off too, is that the place was empty. We got there early, right when the pub was open. For some reason, I'm going to start getting angry about the place now. So the pub doesn't open until 5 p.m. and that's wrong to begin with, right? If you're opening a proper pub, it should be open properly at 11 a.m. where the proper alcoholics can get in there and mull about. But that's a digression. So we get in there exactly at 5 o'clock. First people sit down inside, and the next couple that comes in, the host seats them directly behind us, and the whole place is like empty. It's like, why are you doing this? And I understand. I understand that when it gets down to COVID and indoor seating, that it's kind of like just it doesn't mean a whole lot if you're sitting close to someone or like 6 feet away or 12 feet away, but at least make me feel better. At least lie to me properly. Just lie to me and seat them at the other side of the fucking restaurant, or at least a couple of tables over.
Well, does it, like, I mean, if they are 12 feet away, say, sitting on the opposite side of the room, does it decrease your odds, though? I mean, because you're not like, if somebody was, putting off COVID,
I think you're going to get a less viral load, but I still think it's enough to get the job done. If you're,
But I believe if you're a distance away, the vapors and stuff coming off you, especially if somebody's saying a lot of P words.
Yeah, I just assumed that because they were sitting right behind us, that they were in our cloud,
Yeah,
and we were in their cloud.
yeah.
And of course, the best, there was, once again, I'll go back to the MIT study that I reference every single time we talk about this, is that the best way to control the spread of COVID inside is to have proper ventilation and, of course, people wearing masks. Outside of those two things, social distancing really doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah. I just got the image in my head of Andy yelling at the other people, "Hey, you get off my cloud."
Oh, I like that. We're not going to get anything better than that today. So I'm gonna close down the show so I can get to the typey and the food stuff, and then go to work. Thank you, John Hudson. Thank you, Tobin Templeman, Dr. Tom Foolery, everyone in the chat. Be good. I don't want to shit you. You can be bad if you want to. It's more fun that way. And we'll do this crazy thing tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.